Hey everybody, it's Mike over at Taxes and Bricks. Well, today on the channel, we're going to do something that I really haven't done before. And I think it deserves a little explanation. So I subscribe to a few very popular Lego YouTube channels. You've got Brixie and Jang and M&R Productions and Alex Nunes and TD Bricks and a few others. And I have always been sand green with envy about something in particular that they are all able to do. Some of them do this more than others, but that's Lego Q&As or highlighting comments. And I've done Q&As before, mainly about taxes. Clients will send emails and I'll change the email around a little bit so I don't reveal any details or information about a specific client, because that's a no-no for me. And I would answer them. And I haven't done that in a long, long time. And I've never done one that's been exclusively Lego related because, to be honest, I haven't had enough Lego engagement in the past. But over the last few weeks, I have. And it's not a ton. I mean, nowhere near the volume of, some of the influencers and the YouTube channels that I mentioned before. But it's enough for me to turn my envy into a video, which I'm very excited about. So I'm going to do that. And see how it comes out here. So I'm going to just pause for a second. I've got some of the questions and the comments curated here, and I'll put some up on the screen as I'm reading them. And, see my responses, and we'll go from there. So this first comment / question comes from at EL_Smith. And this was in response to one of the botanicals videos. They write, "Hey, I love how you've displayed them," the botanicals. "I recently bought my first ever Lego sets, one of which is the new Daisy's Botanical. I was wondering how you stop your Legos from getting dusty or how you clean them. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like everything I display in my house gets so dusty so quickly." Well, thanks for the comment and question, EL_Smith. And no, it is not just you. Well, of course, Lego, as it refers to the company, is a Danish word for play well. Many people are unaware that Lego is actually Latin for I gather or I collect. And you can look that up. It's absolutely true. And while that might be a sort of coincidence, given how Lego sets are collectible and people gather and collect them, those of us who display Lego often notice that it also means I collect or gather dust. So I have a few tools in front of me here that I use to keep my sets relatively dust-free, and I'm going to show you each one of them and show you how I use them. So the 1950s called and they want their cleaning tool back. Yeah, this is just a regular old school feather duster. And it works just like how you probably saw it work in like Leave It to Beaver, or if you never watched Leave It to Beaver, then any other show or movie where they had a feather duster. And basically, if it's a small enough set and there's not enough loose pieces, I just picked a random Speed Champions off the thing. I will hold the set in my hand and I will just gingerly dust the set. And sometimes I'll dust the bottom of it, and sometimes pieces come off and sometimes they don't, and then it's dust free. Okay. I can also use this on larger sets that are like Technic sets when I know that the dust feather things aren't going to push things off. But if you've got sets like the Ninjago buildings or a lot of the modulars, this is going to knock minifigures over. It's going to knock pieces loose. And so I tend to use this on smaller, more sturdy sets that I can either take off the shelf or just kind of dust in place that I know aren't going to fall over. So the next thing I have is I have this microfiber duster. And I find that this is better on flat surfaces or Lego sets that have a larger flat surface. So for example, that bat cave up there is perfect for this, because often I will just go up here and I can just kind of reach up, you see, and I can get it. And I can just kind of dust off the tops and I can dust off the fronts of it and whatnot. This also works great on shelves. So for example, if I've got, a shelf here, I can kind of come back through and whatever. Sometimes I will pull these sets down off of the shelf though, because especially if they're on wheels, they roll. So things with flat surfaces. I will also use this on Technic sets, like the things that hang on the wall. This is a really great tool for that. So it's just a regular microfiber duster. It's nice and soft. Now, the only thing I will warn you about is this will trap the dust in it. So like the feather duster, I will often go out after I'm done dusting and I will shake this thing off so that the dust doesn't collect inside of it, because then I'm just probably spreading more dust around rather than removing it. And last but not least, I have this turbo fan. And I tend to use this on larger flat surfaces like the road plates and whatever. I try not to use it where there's going to be small loose pieces or minifigures, because this is pretty powerful and it will blow things over. But it's loud and it's probably going to whatever, so I'm not going to talk over it, but I just turn it on and it's got a little trigger. On and off, real simple, and it will get whatever, but you can see it will blow pieces away, so anything that's loose. And it's got settings, so I can actually set it to a higher setting. But you got to be kind of careful, because this thing's pretty powerful and it can blow pieces, even pieces without a tenuous connection, off of a Lego set. And lastly, if you have an HVAC system where you change out the filters, or are supposed to change out the filters, change them once a month. Even if you have one of those 90-day filters, which, to be honest with you, I'm not sure that they really last 90 days. I buy decent filters. I don't spend the most amount of money, but I don't spend the least. And I change them once a month. And I do that here in the office, and it seems to keep the dust at bay. Even if the filter doesn't look super dirty, or the HVAC hasn't been running a lot because it's, mild weather and we don't run it or whatever, I still change them out once a month, and that seems to keep the dust sort of, at least partially at bay. But you're always going to have dust, and you're always going to have to deal with it, and, whatever you can keep up with. I don't dust every single day. I will usually go around once a week, and I pick one major part of the Lego collection to dust. And I'll spend, 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes doing that. And it's a time-consuming process. But then again, if you have a hobby and you have a display for that hobby, you need to take care of it. Or at least that's my opinion. You can do whatever it is that you want with your Lego. But for me, I like to have them as dust-free as possible. And that does involve a little bit of work and a little bit of care. All right, this next comment/question comes from @MuteCartoon, and the comment/question is, are the hibiscus flowers not backwards? The green parts should be on the backside, I thought. Lovely collection, though. So yes, MuteCartoon, yes, 1,000 times yes. You are absolutely correct. And to be completely honest, I had not noticed this. I had no idea I had built this set wrong. No clue until you pointed it out, so thank you. Mine is wrong, and I'm going to show you a picture of what it's supposed to look like, and when I get a moment, I am going to fix this, because now that MuteCartoon has pointed this out, it's annoying the garbage out of me that I did this wrong, and it doesn't match what it's supposed to look like. And my sets are not always perfect, but this is so clearly and egregiously wrong that it needs to get fixed. And it's not that it doesn't look bad, it's just wrong. And it needs to get fixed. So anyway, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to flip these things around when I get a moment. Probably today, because if I don't do it today, I'm going to get home and wake up in the middle of the night sweating, because I know the hibiscus is wrong. So thank you, MuteCartoon. And this next comment/question comes from Dominic ECK Meyer 409, who writes, nice collection. I started with Lego again last year and am building some botanical sets at the moment. Maybe you could share some must-buys for me apart from botanicals. I'm thinking about getting the big T-Rex fossil and the Millennium Falcon this year. And I posted my reply here in the picture, but yeah. Dominic, welcome back to Lego. I think they referred to that as being in the Dark Ages and then getting into the Golden Age or something. I can't remember. But anyway, welcome back. Must-have sets for me. I mean, the T-Rex fossil and the Millennium Falcon are, yeah, duh. I think the Millennium Falcon's retiring, if you're talking about the UCS Millennium Falcon, this year. So you may want to get it sooner rather than later, because I have a feeling once it's kind of off the shelves and off the Lego website, the price may skyrocket. Or maybe not, because maybe they sold a bunch of them and there's not as much demand. I don't know. Maybe the people who wanted them bought it already. Who knows? I'm not a Lego investor person, so I don't know. But I think the Lego Millennium Falcon is retiring. And I also think the T-Rex fossil is retiring too. So yeah, pick those up, I guess. Must-have sets for me. If, let's say, I was starting from scratch, I think any of the icons or the creator expert cars are a good bet. I love the Porsche. Where's the Porsche? It's one of my favorites. The Countach, another one. It's great. Anything from Speed Champions. I mean, they're easy, relatively inexpensive builds. If you're into Technic, the 1/8 Technic cars, I think are incredibly good looking. They make great displays. A set that I'm looking forward to getting is the new upscaled minifigures. There's supposedly a Darth Vader minifigure coming out, and then the Blue Astronaut. And yeah, I mean, take my money. I will get those sets in a second. And so those would be must-haves for me. But yeah, I mean, anything you get, I think, my thing is I pick a theme and I go with it. And, in some cases I collect everything from that theme. Sometimes I just pick the sets that I really like out of that theme. And I'm a little bit more choosy. But yeah, welcome back. And, good luck collecting. And this last question actually don't up on the screen. It was something that came in from a client, and basically they wanted to know how I have time for my family and work and Lego and my horse. And that's a great question. Those are important to me. They're very important to me. And so making time for all of those things are absolutely important to me. And to quote the character Corey Mason, played by the incomparable Liv Tyler in one of the greatest movies from the 1990s, Empire Records, Dad says there's 24 usable hours in every day. Thank you. And that's kind of my response. I do try and budget my time. I try and prioritize things. I have a routine. But basically for me, I get up around 5 or 6 every day, usually 7 days a week, sometimes a little bit later on the weekends. First thing I do after I get ready is I hit the barn. I turn in my horse, I feed him. Sometimes I ride him if the weather's decent or I have the time to do that. Maybe a half hour, 45-minute ride. Sometimes if I've got time and I don't have to be at the office until, later because I don't have clients or have later client meetings, I can ride for an hour, hour and a half in the morning, which, a lot of people will go to the gym for that long. So this is basically the same thing for me, except I'm not lifting weights. I'm in the saddle running around the farm. So that usually puts me about 8 a.m.-ish when I'm done at the barn. It takes me about 15 minutes to get here from the barn to my office. And I will work most days until 4 or 5 p.m. I don't typically do anything during the day with Lego or Lego videos. I usually save that for the weekends. Or sometimes if I have a break in the day, I will take a half hour, 45 minutes and do something around here Lego related, organizing, cleaning, dusting, for example. But by and large, during the day, from the time I get here until the time I leave, it's all about taxes and accounting for my clients and for my office. I have a short commute home. It's about 10 minutes. So I get home about 10 minutes after I leave the office. And from then on in, it's family time. And, a lot of people say, well, what about during the day? And, what about in the morning? Well, I mean, I'm out the door before the kids get up and in order to get to the office so that I can get home at a reasonable hour. And they're in school all day. So even if I was hanging around the house, I wouldn't see them, except for the weekends, of course. We'll build Lego together, so that's an opportunity for me to build and get some Lego building done, but most of the time we're just playing or reading or hanging out. We all have dinner together as a family. That is a thing we do 7 nights a week, regardless of what's going on. We are all together as a family having dinner. Kids go to bed. I will do that, bedtime, and that usually ends around 8-ish. And then from 8 to 10, we've got 2 dogs and 2 cats. I'll throw some food at them, and I build till about 10 o'clock every night. Sometimes I build a little later if I don't have to get up super early the next day. Sometimes I will build until 9 o'clock. Sometimes I won't build at all. But most nights I build from about 8 until 10. I think if you have something that's important to you, and in my case, that's, my family, obviously. That is my work, my Lego, my horse, my pets. You make time for it, and I have a routine, and I stick to that routine, and I'm pretty religious about it. If I have to break my routine because I'm out of town or whatever it is, it definitely has an impact on me. If the weather impacts my ability to do something, there were several days I couldn't get to the barn because the road was impassable to get up to the barn. That's going to have an impact on me. And that's not to say that I can't be flexible. That's That's not to say that I can't adjust my routine. That's not to say that I can't add or subtract things from my routine and my priorities, but that's basically what I do. And that's how I get Lego, taxes, family, horse, dogs, cats, all the things that I want to have accomplished. So that was a great question, and I really appreciate it. And I really hope you guys like this video. That's it for today. I got to say, I am grateful to everybody who has subscribed to the channel. We are over 650 subscribers now, which is insane for me and such an honor. And I appreciate every one of you and everybody who's watched, whether they've subscribed or not. So thank you. I truly, truly appreciate you. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.